In this video tutorial, we're going to talk about managing security in XtraBuild Designer. To start with, we're going to build a couple of tables. We're going to add our first table by clicking on the plus sign, and we're going to call it Customers. The second table is going to be called Contacts. The third one is going to be Invoices. And the last one is going to be called Projects. Okay, so we've created 4 tables. Now we can continue and create a couple of views. We're going to go with the data list view for the customers table. This is going to open up the data list view manager. Click on the plus sign, and from this drop down, select the customers table. Click on accept. Now save and close. The second view is going to be a grid view, and we're going to create one for the contacts table. Accept, save and close. Then a form view. This is going to be connected to the invoices. And the last one is going to be a tree view, which is going to be connected to the projects table. Okay. The next step in our demonstration is to create a ribbon bar. Click on the ribbon bar button. This is going to open up the ribbon bar designer. We're going to add a tab, a group, and 4 buttons in the same group. We're going to name the first button Customers, the second one Contacts, third one Invoices, and the fourth button Projects. We're going to add some icons to the newly created buttons. Click on the button, right click, choose load. We're going to go with project. For invoices, choose load and click on invoice. Contacts, load contacts. And for the last one, customers. Okay, so now we have a nice looking ribbon bar, but if you click on the buttons, they're not going to do anything. So we're going to attach some views to them. And when you click on one of the buttons, you're going to open up one of the views we have created a bit earlier. So for the customers, we're going to choose the customers view. For contacts, the contacts view. Invoices, invoices. And for the projects, choose the projects view. It would be a good idea if you can give a title to your view, because when you're opening the view without giving a title, let's go to the projects. This is going to open up the tree view, but it's not going to have a nice name. It's going to have the default one. So for the projects, we're going to call this projects. Invoices. Contacts. And customers. Okay. Now, if you're going to click on the Customers button, this is going to open up the daily list view that we have created, and it does have a nice name right now. The Contacts button is going to open up the grid view. Invoices is going to open up the form view. And Projects is going to open up the tree view, which also has a nice name on it. We can close the ribbon bar designer for now, get back to the Projects tab, and start creating some users. Click on the Users button. This is going to open up the Database Security, the Users section, and we're going to create our first user. The first one is going to be admin. The password is also admin with capital A. The second user is going to be called accountant. Password accountant. And the third user is going to be called developer with the same password, developer. From this section, in this dropdown, you will be able to select the profile which is going to be associated to this username. But since we did not have a profile defined or created, we're just going to save and close this window, go to Profiles, and start creating some profiles. Click on the plus sign. Admin is the first profile. The second profile will be accounting. And the third one, development. Okay. Now we have the profiles created. Save and close. Go back to the Users section. And by selecting a user, going back to this part, you will be able to select a profile from this drop-down. So admin is going to be tied to the admin profile. Accountant is going to be tied to accounting profile. And the developer to the development profile. Save and close. Now we're going to go back to our ribbon bar and see what our buttons do depending on the profile we can select from this drop-down. So if you're selecting admin from this drop-down, you'll be able to see how the buttons are going to act by using the admin profile. This also applies for the accounting profile. So if you're selecting the accounting profile and click on the buttons, you will be able to see how the buttons act based on this profile. But if you're clicking on any of the buttons right now, no matter what your selection is, you will see that all the profiles have the same rights. And the reason for that is that we haven't defined the rights for these profiles. So these are equal in rights right now. What we need to do is go back to the Projects tab and click on the Rights button in the Security section. On the left side of the screen, you'll see a list of the views we have created. And on the right side, you'll see a matrix with all the profiles we have available and the rights that are associated to these profiles. Now let's assume that we want to change these permissions, and for the development profile, we want to restrict the view permission for all the views that we have over here, except the project view. To modify the permissions, just double click on the section that you want to modify. For the accounting profile, we want to permit the view access to all our views over here, except the project view. Now let's save and close and go back to our ribbon bar and see how the profiles act upon our buttons. Now we have the accounting profile selected in this drop-down, and we can see that only 3 buttons are available in our ribbon bar. If we change it and choose admin, we can see that all the buttons are available, as the admin has all the permissions to view, edit, modify, and everything available for all the buttons in our ribbon bar. If we change it to the development profile, we can see that only 1 button is available. Only the project view will be available. Let's save and close. Since we made changes to the rights that are associated to the profiles, we can visit any of our views. Let's choose the tree view, which has been tied to the projects table. And from the security option over here, we can see that the profiles have certain permissions. The admin has been selected from this drop-down, so the admin profile. And we can see that the edit button is available because the admin has these permissions. But if we choose accounting, for example, we know that the accounting profile doesn't have access to this view. And this means that this button is not going to be available. You can check the permissions that have been granted to different profiles by going to the security option over here in all the views and check what your settings are. Let's save and close. But before doing that, let's make sure we're not leaving any filters active. You can do that by clicking on this button over here. Now we can save and close. If we want to run the project by using these different profiles, all we need to do is go to the Projects tab, and on the Run button, you will see a small arrow underneath it. Just click on it and tick one of the profiles that you want to run your project on. Let's click on Admin. Click OK. And if you click on the Run button right now, you will see that all the buttons are available because the admin has full rights over the project. If we want to choose a different profile, like the development one, click on OK, run the project, and you'll see that only 1 button will be available because this profile has access only to the project's view. This applies to all the profiles that we have available in this drop-down, and if we want to run the project under a different profile, just click on the small arrow beneath the Run button, select the profile that you want to test, click on OK, and click on the Run button. And this is how you define security in your project using XtraBuild Designer. I hope this has been informative for you, and I would like to thank you for watching.